Thanks for staying with us. It's time for our parenting experts. We do this every Tuesday on the show. And this morning, we are joined by Judith Usiakpor. She's a dynamic entrepreneur, early childhood education expert, and passionate advocate for empowering parents of children under 5. Today, we are discussing the topic parenting in the age of perfection, how to raise toddlers without losing your mind. Good morning.
Good morning, Emma.
How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you. And you?
Great. I'm fine. Thank you so much. Okay, so during the coffee gist, I was basically sharing my experience with my 7-year-old yesterday in the cause of defending her sister, her younger sister, who was being bullied by an older child. He said to her, "Your mouth looks like a goat."
Oh my God.
Right. And just before she was going to report herself, she said to me, "Mommy, I'm so sorry. I know that I shouldn't have responded, but I did." So I said to him, "Your mouth looks like the pack of drink you're holding." I won't lie to you. Internally, I was proud of her for defending herself. Right. But then I said to her, because first off, I acknowledged that, I told her how impressed I was at her for first acknowledging that she shouldn't have responded. But then it is okay, because as human beings, we're infallible, right? And we're prone to doing wrong, and that's okay, right? But next time you report to an older person, like your teacher or an adult, who can wade into that situation, because you may not always know how to handle it in the best possible way, and then and then that happens. So let's talk a little bit about parenting in these times. There's a lot of debate about what should you, when should you do certain things as parents. There's too much talk filtering in, and too many influences. But what should be parenting, or what is the ideal parenting in this age of perfection?
Yeah, in this age of perfection, is there really perfection? There's nothing like perfection, I would say.
Right.
But I would say in this age, focus on your child.
Okay.
Really, you are the expert in your child's life, right? So yes, the noise, the research says this, the mom posting on the internet saying this is what I'm doing, but focus on your child, really focus on your child. Focus on making your child feel loved, seen, and safe. That's really what is important.
All right.
Seen, loved, and safe.
Seen, loved, and safe.
Yes.
Now let's talk about toddlers, because that's your age of specialty. What is it like, or in what mode should a parent be in to be able to handle children toddlers who often throw tantrums? And I'm also going to go into the aspect of kids that are with special needs, because that is, a special, case on its own, right?
So when it comes to tantrums, I would say that first, as a parent, you need to understand that certain things your toddler does, they are not really to get at you.
Okay.
Your toddler is not just trying to get you upset or get on your nerves. Some of those things are part of their development, right? So you mentioned tantrums. So a child is trying to communicate their emotions. And between the ages of 0 to 5, the child probably doesn't have the right words. The child cannot say, "Oh, this is what I'm feeling right now." Right? So the next best thing for the child to do would be to throw a tantrum to get your attention.
Right.
So the child is really not trying to get at you. So as a parent, if you understand that some of these things you look at, like picky eating, creating sleep patterns, tantrums, they are all part of your child's developmental milestones. They do not have the skills that they require yet to manage those emotions. They do not have the skills that they need. So as a parent, your job is to train them. Right? So when it comes to tantrums, you need to teach your child to label their emotions. So I'm upset. Teach your child, so when you're upset, this is what you're feeling right now. You're actually upset. So say, "I'm upset about this," or "I'm angry, I'm happy." Teach them first to label their emotions. So if they're able to label their emotions, the tantrums will be less. And if you're also, as a parent, if you're able to preempt these emotions or preempt these behaviors before they occur, you end up saving yourself a lot of stress. Let me give an instance. So you're going shopping with your toddler, right? The toddler is probably tired, they've not had lunch, and then you drag them along. Really, what do you expect? They are cranky, so they are going to throw a tantrum at the supermarket. Or perhaps you don't even have a discussion with your 3-year-old before you step out of the house. When my kids were younger, I would always make a shopping list and say, we are going to the supermarket to get this, and this. And we're not buying candies today, so let's stick to that. So it's quite unlikely that when we get to the supermarket, you throw a tantrum. And even when you do, I allow you feel it. We feel our emotions as adults, don't we? So allow them feel that emotion, whatever it is. If they throw themselves on the floor, just make sure they are safe and allow them go through the emotions.
Now, some people would say that's not normal. And it could also be misinterpreted or misunderstood as, oh, this parent isn't training their children well. That's what people would say, you know. But now, let's talk about throwing of, tantrums as children. Is that normal?
Yes, it is. It's part of their emotional development.
Okay.
As I mentioned earlier, the child is not able to explain what they are feeling. So in early years, we call it big emotions, right? Little children with big emotions. So they are not able to really express fully what they are feeling at that time. So it's up to you as the parent to teach them how to handle those emotions when they occur.
So communicate to them. Now let's talk about children with special needs, because theirs is a lot more delicate, and a lot of parents are always thrown into the deep end because they really do not know how to help to manage and even navigate through these children's emotions or whatever it is that they're feeling. So let's talk about how parents can help to stay sane in the midst of dealing with their children's emotions in that sort of situation.
So when it comes to children with special needs, with children generally, no two children are the same, right? So they are unique in their own ways. So the way the behavior of this child might be different from the behavior of the other child with special needs. So it's on you to focus on your child, right? And possibly speak to a therapist, speak to a behavioral therapist, and find out the things you need to do to help your child and do that behavior better, since you know that the child is a special needs child. Okay.
Now let's talk about helping a child respond to whatever emotions that they're feeling. I mean, I'd like to think that there's no age restriction when it comes to bullying at schools. And in this time, we have where even as young as a 2-3-year-old child is being taken to school, because they're taken to crèche and then kindergarten class, and then before they advance into the other levels or other stages. Now, in a case where these toddlers are faced with bullying, and in the course of their developmental stage or age, they have been so used to responding to throwing tantrums. In that kind of situation, how do you teach this child to be able to respond in a more suitable manner that doesn't also progress into anger? Because it's very delicate. It's a very sensitive period in a child's life.
So would that be for the child who is being bullied or for the bully?
For the bully and the bullied, because we have to address it from two different from both angles.
So, for example, for a 2-year-old, right? So if a 2-year-old bites another child, I won't say that 2-year-old is a bully, because the child at that point might be sensitive to taste, so might just want to work on might have some sensory needs, right?
And just want to taste.
No, so might have some sensory needs.
Okay.
So the child goes on to bite another child. So at that point, you redirect the child. So you must always have adults in the environment. These are still children. Okay. So you have an adult redirect that child. So in my school, for example, what we say is we bite food. We don't bite people.
Okay.
So if it's not food, it shouldn't go in your mouth. Right? So statements like that help to redirect. the children, right? So that's for a child who is a bully, who is maybe biting another child or hitting another child. So when it even comes to hitting, we say, oh, these are my hands. You use your hands to do good things. We don't use our hands to hit our friends. We do not push. We don't push our friends. So you have to be proactive.
And proactive, okay.
Because a lot of times we look for the cure. We are not proactive, forgetting that we still need to train these children.
Right.
Like, they are children, we need to train them. So we have to be very proactive in our approach, right? So you talk about those things. During circle time in my school, we talk a lot about the appropriate behaviors that we must have with our friends, because children are still learning social interaction at that stage, right? Then for the child who is being bullied, you need to let the child know that you need to report. So if someone does something to you that you do not like, you let an adult in the environment know immediately. So that it can be addressed.
Thank you so much, Judith.
This
has been quite brief but very insightful. I'm sure parents watching have been able to get one or two nuggets from our conversation on parenting in this age of perfection and how to properly raise kids without losing our minds. Thank you, Judith. We'll do this again next week.
Oh, yes, we will. Thank you.
Fantastic. And that's it for now on the conversation. The show continues shortly, people. Stay with us.